feel like a circus performer.
You were like Kelsey Plum with that arm. Oh. Kansas City! Oh, it's Rog! Or as Fats Domino would say, Kansas City, here I come. Oh. And I'm not alone, because by my side, for the first ever time in the human history of the women's game, Kansas City, it's my friend Sam Mewis.
So nice, you guys. Okay, we're done. Okay, thank you guys. That was really, really nice. Thank you so much for that. Hi, everybody. I'm so happy to be back here in Kansas City as a former Kansas City Current player and a current Kansas City Current fan. The last time I was on stage like this, I was playing Glenda the Good Witch in my elementary school play of Wizard of Oz.
Tell them the full story, Sam.
The full story is, and we can't take up that much time with this,
only 15 minutes.
Is that, you know Glenda the Good Witch's solo? I tried to do it, and the teacher said, no, she's not a good enough singer, and I had to get a pitch hitter come sing the song for me. So hopefully tonight goes a little bit better than that. It is really, really nice to be revisiting one of my favorite cities.
Because it is such an incredibly singular, magical kingdom you have here, Kansas City. This city founded on cattle, from the 1870 stockyards and meatpacking plants, to the present day, where I do believe your major industry is burnt end export. Shout out to Joe's Kansas City barbecue, which I crap you not, I have eaten for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I've been here for 36 hours. I've been there approximately 17 times since arriving.
Roger, are you okay?
I've never been better.
Kansas City is also the home of Mr. Walt Disney, and without Walt, we wouldn't have been blessed with High School Musical, and the world would be a much worse place.
By the way, I will go to my grave believing that Stick to the Status Quo is top 5 movie song all time. Shout out to Corbin Blur, one of the world's great underrated performers. But this city also gave us Charlie Parker, Yardbird, great jazz saxophonist. As Kansas City, Missouri native rhythm and blues musician Jesse Stone once said, this city, Kansas City, did more for jazz music than any other influence the music had at all.
And we haven't even mentioned yet, how about those back-to-back Super Bowl winning Kansas City Chiefs? I knew this was going to get a good reaction. That's why I said it. And I grew up in New England, you guys. So I know. I never thought I could even stomach the idea of another city's team. But you guys kind of have your shit together here.
You were going to say something really beautiful I was excited to hear. Mostly because I was looking forward to Sam going back to Boston after saying it. She got joy out of your joy, rooting for another team. That's me speaking for Sam, which I should never do. So I'm going to move on and just shout out another Kansas-esque joy, the greatest American export since jazz, Mr. Ted Lasso. That mustachioed wonder who taught us that doing the right thing is never the wrong thing.
Right, okay, so this is the city that birthed Ted Lasso, Disney, jazz, the Chiefs, burnt ends, all of these incredible and world-changing things, and we're only just about to start talking about soccer. Professional soccer has been in town since 1968 with the NASL's KC Spurs, winners of the 1969 NASL Championship.
which is the last time Spurs won anything. By the way, what, you think like if you get to start a team from fresh, free of baggage, you'd like other teams' names are available. But I think it was July 4th, 1968, the KC Spurs hosted Pelé. Yes, that Pelé in Municipal Stadium right here in this city. A great day for this nation. And then they became the mighty Kansas City Comets. And then the KC Attack. I think they were running out of good names ideas at that point. In those tweener indoor years. By the way, twice winners of the National Professional Soccer League. Can we hear it for that?
And then all the way to the 1996 MLS debut season with the Kansas City Wiz, a team which sadly rebranded first to the Kansas City Wizards and now Sporting Kansas City, winners of the 2000 and 2013 MLS Cups and 4 U.S. Open Cups.
Can I say, I do admire the culture that this team have built in that jewel box of a cauldron in this city, witnessing Preki free kick banger after Preki free kick banger. By the way, that guy is one of the few human beings who seems to have gotten better at football after the age of 40 even than he was before. He's eternal.
And then finally, all the way to the very first NWSL game right here in Kansas City with FC Casey winning back-to-back championships in 2014 and 2015. Look who it is up here. Flacco.
Look, by the way, if you're listening to this as a podcast at home, go and look at it on YouTube. For this photograph alone, there is an image of Becky Sauerbrunn when she was Lily Johannes' age. And somehow this photograph is in 2014, and Vlatko looks older then than he does now.
He's doing his skincare.
I think he's on I think he goes to sleep every night and just rubs some Arthur Bryant's burnt end into his face. It's magic. But now, something very, very special is happening in this city. A city, by the way, which is only going to host the United States men in the Copa America. And will stage not just 1, but 6 games at the Men's World Cup 2026. And I've seen the script for that one, and the US men are actually going to win it. We're going to beat Qatar in the semi-final and Saudi Arabia in the final. It's going to be amazing. By the way, when was I not meant to tell anyone? Tell the bag. Guys, put money on it. We can all buy an NWSL franchise. I do get such joy out of football being held here in the beating heart of America, and that your city is becoming the beating heart of football, soccer in this nation. Because the prime reason that Sammy and I are here is to celebrate a remarkable moment in football history, a remarkable moment, honestly, in American history, because this year, March 16th, 2024, saw the debut of the first stadium put... How do you know what I was going to say? The first stadium purpose-built solely for a professional women's team. Your home, the great, the glorious, nestling on the southern banks of the Missouri River, Canadian Pacific Kansas City Stadium.
The growth of women's soccer during the course of my playing career was so extraordinary, you guys wouldn't believe where we started. But very few things top the investment and the commitment that we've seen from the Kansas City current ownership. Between the stadium, the training facility, the players and staff that have been brought in, this Kansas City current team has the potential to push the game forward even further. And they have one of the most impressive stages to do it on.
This is the story that we traveled here to tell tonight. How Kansas City became an incubator, a startup laboratory, one that's ushered women's pro football into a brave new standard-setting world. Really, it's a peek into the future of the sport in this nation and a woman-led existence. Today, we're going to speak to the players, ownership, and talk to you, the fans of Kansas City Current, about this experience, what it's been like to try to build the world's best football club in this city, essentially from scratch.
Before we begin our storytelling and bring up our first guests, I want to raise a can of Olipop in joy at the prospect of all that is to come tonight. This show was made possible by our great friends at Olipop. It's a new kind of soda. They power so much of our women's game coverage here at Men in Blazers, and they are official partners of the Kansas City Current. These are available at the stadium. So, Raj, let's crack open our first can of the night. It'll be the first of many, I think. And you want to ask for one more thing before we dive into this story, right?
I do. By the way, I'm going to ask for it, but cheers to all of you. I do want to say, it's so incredible how much your team is all over this city. I grew up in Liverpool. The colour teal had not been invented when I grew up. It is everywhere that we go. We arrived at Joe's KC. It was outside on the umbrellas there. We go to Messenger Coffee. They're serving coffee that's branded with the KC Current. I have almost been run over, not once, not twice, but 3 times by KC Current branded trams in your city. It's amazing. I said to Sam, I always wanted to die in my sleep, but I honestly think I prefer to be run over by a KC Current tram. Top 2 ways to go. But I do not want to take any of this for granted. This is a remarkable moment. You guys have built a remarkable culture. We're going to dive in and try and tell the story of your city, the story of Kansas City Current to a national audience, and hopefully make a memory of our own. And to do that, we're going to start by turning on the house lights, bring on our photographer, Sydney. Let's hear it for Sydney. We'll take a shot of each and every one of you who's come here tonight. Please be upstanding. Raise your glasses high. On your feet, Kansas City. Let's hear it for Sydney. Oh, by the way, it's not going to get any better than that. Sydney. Let's hear it for Sydney, the photographer.
I like seeing everybody, too. This is amazing. You guys look great. What an incredible crowd. I am actually going to request whenever I do a podcast from here on out that I have live people cheering and laughing at all my jokes. It's really helpful.
You know, we're all going to have to be on these recordings now for Sam going, ha, ha, ha. Okay, get over the good witch trauma. It happened when you were 8. You've won the World Cup. Did that not heal the pain? By the way, you don't think about that. When a footballer wins the World Cup, men's or women's, you're like, oh my Lord, that's incredible. In their mind, they're just like, the good witch was a childhood trauma I didn't think I'd overcome.
Some things you just don't get over.
It drove me onwards to dominate the world and slaughter the Netherlands. But that's, that's another story. But we want to tell your story. And Sammy, let's start at the beginning. For our first guest, 2 for the price of 1. What's happened here in this past year has been so profound, so transformative to witness. But I think to truly understand it, we should hear from the players who've lived it from the inside. It's a joy to welcome two of them. They are remarkable human beings, great friends of Sam's, a lockdown defender, known as E-Ball, and the pride of Littleton, Colorado, three-time NWSL championship winning forward who goes by the name The Hammer. Kansas City, please be upstanding for Elizabeth Ball and Kristen Hamilton.
Amazing. I am so happy these girls are here. Of course, I wanted to start the show by bringing on guests who are my dear, dear friends. I was lucky enough to play with you, Kristen, all the way back in 2015 and 2016 in Western New York, where we won, and then for years and years at the Courage, where we also won. Finally here in Kansas City, where you guys are about to win.
Yeah.
I know.
They are, by the way, they are.
I know.
We're not meant to tell you, but they're going to beat Saudi Arabia in the final as well.
So, everybody, Hammy and I have a lot of silly memories together, including taking her Nana on a beer bike trolley.
There's video proof of this.
You guys, we don't have time for that tonight, unfortunately. And Elizabeth, E-Ball, everyone's favorite Penn State grad. E-Ball and I were teammates here in Kansas City, only briefly, but her huge heart and incredible sense of humor has made it feel like we've been friends forever. Hammy and E-Ball, I'm just so excited to see you both. We do have another hilarious memory to share of ours that just recently resurfaced when I posted a picture on Lynn Williams' birthday. There's this picture of her driving, dressed as Baby Yoda. And we were on our way to your Halloween party here in Kansas City. I was dressed as Alan from The Hangover, obviously. And I don't know if you can see Kristen there in the back doing a medical service of some sort. Can you tell us what you girls were dressed as?
Honestly, not our finest work. If we're being real here, we were just some doctors. Some came back from the dead. Maybe, I'm not sure.
Well, they hosted a great party.
Yeah, we were hosts. The outfits were second to that.
Yeah, just had to make sure everybody had fun.
Yeah.
We did.
Fun was had.
By the way, these guys do everything. Doctors, real estate,
Yep.
coffee connoisseurs. I'm genuinely inspired to be in your presence. We're at the Messenger coffee shop today. Kansas City current flag as soon as you walk in. The Kansas City branded coffee, which I asked for, and the woman looked at me like I was stupid. She goes, "We only serve that on game day," which is rational, and I was like, respect. And then I ordered a hot coffee, and Sam said to me,
Gosh, you guys. Roger's out here getting hot coffees when it's like 80 degrees out.
she goes to me, "Are you a ghoul?"
Yeah.
You guys, it rattled me. I don't really know what else to say. It was like hot.
Yeah, you can't be doing that.
Can't be doing
You can't be doing that. 3 against 1.
I know they were also horrified backstage, but we are here not to talk about coffee taste or to celebrate Halloween outfits past, but to celebrate massive moments, women's football present. And I want to take you both back to March 16th, 2024. First stadium purpose-built for professional women's football solely in the world. It opened CPKC right here on the, I keep saying this, the Missouri River. I like that detail. Take me back to that day, because you have both been involved in the sport your entire lives. You have played in so many stadia, great and less great. I mean, Kristen, you played for the US national team. Elizabeth, you won the NCAA national championship. I mean, you have played in massive moments, both of you. But can you describe the emotions you felt on game day when you both woke up that morning knowing everything that was to come?
Yeah, I mean, it was a moment of anticipation. We had been anticipating that for so long, and Angie and Chris told us their vision You
The
know,
owners, the Longs.
yes, yes, the Longs, sorry. The Longs. Sorry. Mr. and Mrs. Long did. um, but yeah, no, they told us we're gonna be a part of something great. And that day was a blur. I honestly don't remember much of it. I mean, I do remember a few of the goals that were scored on us, but we got the win, and it was incredible. The fans were amazing, and yeah, they made that moment special, and I know none of us will forget that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how to follow that up.
She got a lot of laughs.
Yeah, got a lot of laughs.
I know.
I'll just take us back to Western New York, first couple years in the league, driving 45 minutes to our home games.
Yeah.
And
I have
that was-
75 minutes written down here.
75. Probably, it honestly probably was 75 minutes.
Yeah.
To stepping out onto this field was a pretty surreal moment in 10 years, seeing how the league has grown, where we've come. Like you said, the vision from the Longs to make this happen. And it was just an incredible moment. Like you said, I hardly remember the day. But yeah, a lot of anticipation, a lot of grinding to get us here on the player side and the ownership side. And yeah, it was a big day.
For sure. Well, on what you said, I want to give some context through contrast about what came before all of this, everything we're seeing here. Because Kansas City actually hosted the first NWSL game ever in 2013. It was also against the Portland Thorns. Yep. But it was played in a high school football stadium. There were no locker rooms. The team had used temporary bleachers or just ropes to make sure that fans stood back far enough. In fact, all of us have been a part of this league long enough to have had some vastly different experiences than the one you were preparing to have that day, the first game in CPKC Stadium. So when you walked into that locker room, I don't know if you guys have this memory because clearly you've forgotten some of it, but I loved the video that the team made of when you all first saw the locker room. I know, we kept that in there on purpose. There was just so much joy that day. It's a new era. So from having no locker room to a time when you have your own locker room in your own stadium, I imagine that this was like really validating as players. You've given so much of your lives to this game and to this league specifically, and to be part of a club that values you this much, wants to see this game grow. It must make it all feel worth it in that moment. Hammy, like you said, we used to drive 75 minutes to our own home games. From Buffalo to Rochester when we were in Western New York. But tell me a little bit about, did that feel validating to you? Like, wow, this whole journey has been worth it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we've been through everything you can possibly imagine in this league. And like you said, from what we came from, to step out onto that field, to see that locker room, to see the stadium, even when it was being built, it didn't really feel quite real yet. And then you step out on the field the first day, I was almost emotional that first day stepping out there because I was like, this is insane. This is actually crazy that this is just for us. Like, I never thought in 10 years, especially, that we would get to this point. I thought that it would take longer. But really, these past 3 years, it's just been exponential growth in the women's game. And, you know, a lot of it is credit to the Longs. So thanks to them,
Shout out Mr. and Mrs. Long.
Mr. and Mrs. Long.
Mr. and Mrs. Long.
By the way, I'm legally obliged to say their real name is Lord and Lady Long.
But yeah, I mean, just all the hard work we put into it, to negotiating our first CBA ever, all of the work that went into that for that whole entire year to get us to some set standards for this league in general. Very validating, very rewarding, and like you said, it's made it all worth it, and the grind has got us here.
When you walked out onto the pitch, the national broadcast said, "A dream realized, a standard set." Well, take me through this moment for you, as someone who's lived it from the inside. What was going through your minds? What were you experiencing emotionally as you walked out onto the field?
Yeah, I mean, it was so exciting to, well, obviously first game of the year at home. That's exciting in itself. And then we're in this stadium that is packed full and was sold out the day tickets went on sale. It was just a surreal moment, like Kristen had said, and it's so crazy to think that we set the standard, and I feel like we're even pushing the standard. Like other teams are trying to catch up, we're still pushing it, and that's so cool that teams are just trying to follow suit. But Mr. and Mrs. Long do have it down.
We have to get merch made. I love it so much. It's so good.
It's the Duke and Dave of Longs. We're just going to keep escalating it throughout the evening. I mean, I am fascinated because it has been an incredible journey for you guys, and they have set the bar. They didn't just like raise it a little bit. As someone that has been almost run over 3 bloody times, like other cities, don't come at me with like, our team are doing incredible until you've run me over with your own signature tram. But you know what it's like when you get a new car and you sit in it, it's like, oh, new car smell. Is there a new stadium smell?
I don't even know how to answer
I don't
that.
know.
It's a weird question. It's a weird question.
I'm not
Yeah,
quite sure.
I do think the body wash smells good. Like it's
Whatever they use,
It's
everything's
like,
teal.
There's no
The
Everything's
body
teal.
wash in the
no,
dispenser.
body wash
no
is
branding,
teal.
but like it's blue.
Everything's teal.
and it smells really good.
Yeah.
Best in
Yeah.
the
teal
NWSL.
soap.
I won't
Teal
knock
soap.
until I've taken a shower there. Taken a shower.
The body wash smells of Joe's barbecue sauce and NWSL glory.
Okay, so we do have to talk about the game itself. Ebal has alluded to this. It was a high-scoring game. It was wild. It was the first time ever that the NWSL was broadcast on network ABC proper. Vlatko, yeah, I know.
Yeah.
TV, baby.
A lot of ABC fans here tonight.
Vlatko Andonovski, it was his first game back as a club coach after coaching the U.S. Women's National Team. I know. And then the youngest ever goal scorer, Alex Pfeiffer, who I think only just now is legally able to drive herself to training, maybe
True.
not even.
Just
I don't
got
know.
her car.
Let's all marvel at this. A child scoring a goal. Let's watch. Annie!
Oh, look at that.
With the celly.
The knee slide. It is so incredible to see the fearlessness of the young players in the league today. I was like an insecure sophomore in high school with acne when I was 16. And here's Alex Pfeiffer doing a knee slide in a women's soccer specific stadium in Kansas City in front of 11,000 people. Gen Z amazes me and terrifies me. But the big picture of this game, it's the first sellout of the new stadium, 11,500 fans. Season tickets are sold out. Thousands are on the waiting list. The game finished 5-4 with a current win.
Woo! Let's go! Yeah.
Woo! And it was really emotional to witness, even from afar. I remember watching at home and wanting to jump right through the TV screen and be a part of it. And can I come back on the team, even though I can't play?
Yes.
I know. You don't have to tell me, you guys. I know. When you guys scroll through the mental photo album of that game, what's the single best memory or story from behind the scenes that day that really jumps out at you? Or did you just black the whole thing out? I don't know.
Yeah. Well, just seeing the score that said 5-1 really brought back some traumatic memories, actually.
Panic.
So I don't know if I could talk about it right now. Maybe Kristen could take this one.
Yeah, it was a day out there, let me tell you.
What was it like at halftime?
She does still talk about this day.
Or what was it like after the game? Were you relieved and excited, or were you like, oh my god?
Oh no, after the game was like a big sigh of relief.
Okay, good. Good.
Like, thank God we got out of here with this win. Like that would have been a story to tell.
Close
someday.
call.
Yeah,
Mr. and Mrs.
close
Long
call,
would not
yeah.
have been happy with that.
That would not. No one would have. That would have been. Yeah, that would have been bad. No, I don't even know. Honestly, I don't think there's one moment. For me, actually, I'll say during like the national anthem when they did the flyover of the stadium, like those moments really hit. You're like, where am I? Like you just have that time to sit and really like take in where you are in that moment, and you're standing on the sideline, and the Jets go over, and the national anthem is being sung, and you're just like, the like reality of that moment kind of sets in. So I'm like, that was a wild kind of moment there.
You told me that when you play in that stadium, you feel like almost an obligation for the fans in that stadium. You have to win.
100%. Yes, we do.
Yes, for you guys. Let's
We
go.
do. No, but
Yeah.
it honestly, that first game, one thing I do remember is the crowd. I feel like I just blacked everything out, and all I could hear was the chants, and I'm like, this city
Yeah.
is crazy.
Yeah.
Y'all are unreal.
Yeah.
I'm like, everybody knows the chants. There's babies chanting. Like, I don't even know. It was crazy. I'm like, how does everybody know the chant? It's the first game. But no, that feeling of the fans and their love for the sport and for us was unreal. And yeah, I will never forget that.
And then after the game, just filling up all those empty bottles with the shower gel.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's.
Taking that home. Yeah.
We haven't had a home game in a while, so we need to have one soon. So
She doesn't use anything else anymore. So.
that's all I use.
We need to talk about your manager for a minute, Vlatko Andonovski. I mean, he's from Macedonia, but I do believe he's proper Kansas City now, right? Settled here decades ago, NWSL champion with Kansas City, 2014, 2015. He admits he fell out of love with the game after his challenge stint with the US national team and that brutal millimeter-thick penalty kick World Cup loss to Sweden. Too soon, too soon. But he's back. By the way, he's admitted, scientifically rejuvenated by Arthur Bryant's. I crap you not, he calls Arthur Bryant's quote, a meal that heals. That's what I'm going to tell my wife when I stuff that 27th burnt end into my mouth. It's a meal that heals, love. But he says that since his return, this has been a team that's been transformed, and it really has. Do I need to remind you of your record this season? 1-7, drawn 4, lost 0 games. So what has Vlatko said to you? What has he implemented that's been working so well?
A lot. I mean, obviously last year, he says a lot. No. Last year, it was a season that a lot of things just kind of, nothing really fell our way. A lot of unlucky losses, a lot of games that we let slip away, just like sloppy things that we kind of let happen last year. And I think the off season was really good for all of us as players and him to kind of build the team he wanted and say, hey, what was missing last year? What are you guys striving for this year? And how can I help this group get to where we want to be? And he took all of our feedback and he said that there's pretty much 5 themes that everybody talked about. And he's really driven home the competitiveness every single day. I mean, you have everybody in a position that someone could come in and start over them on any given day. That's just how good our team is and the depth and the talent of our team. And then just the work ethic he's instilled in all of us. It's like, if you're not going to do the work, someone else will. And again, that kind of like fire under you that, you're not safe necessarily in a really good way that drives that competitiveness and that energy. So yeah, he's just done a really good job of instilling kind of this mindset in us that we're going to grind and we're going to work and like no team's going to outwork us and things might not always fall our way and we might not, this second half of the season end up not losing a game, but all we can control is what we can control, and it's just been a really awesome kind of culture change that he's brought to us.
So let me ask you as a follow-up to the fans here in the Madrid Theatre tonight, to the 11,500 who packed the stadium week in, week out, to the national audience listening along at home. Can you speak to them and tell them what you have in store for the rest of the season to come?
Yeah.
Goals.
Yes. And shutouts. But
Goals and shutouts, that's it, we're good.
no, we're on a journey, and we're gonna just keep pushing forward and working hard, like Kristen said, competing every day, and we're gonna be that team that teams play and say, shit, I don't want to play them.
Yeah. I think
Yeah.
yeah.
That was great. Yeah.
Lo
That-
goes around all day. It's the oh shit, Kansas City.
Yeah.
You'll hear Lo saying that.
That's Lo's saying, so
Yeah.
let him know.
And it's true, I think, at the moment. I think everybody's scared to play us. And I think that's just going to continue. I mean, you look at our team, and you're not going to stop us from scoring goals. So, fact.
That was amazing, you guys. Amazing answer. This is the last question for these two. Most important thing that we will talk about tonight. We've talked a lot about barbecue. We've asked you a lot of hard-hitting questions. Go-to barbecue place. Joe's, Arthur Bryant, Jack Stack.
Oh, wow.
I don't know.
Wow, this is the hardest one.
I'm not gonna lie. I do not like barbecue that much. But I know that's really messed up. But I do like steaks from the uppercut.
Okay, Evo.
Subtle
We
plug.
thought we lost her for a second. She is back. It's okay, everybody. Steaks from
The uppercut.
the
Casey.
uppercut.
Yeah.
Love
Best
that.
meat market in town.
And
What's your shop? Let's go.
do you have a barbecue, or are you gonna shock the
I'm
room
just
as well?
I honestly haven't tried that much. I gotta say, Joe's. That's my go-to
Okay.
spot. You take people here. Yeah, you said thank God. Yeah, Joe's.
Cool, awesome, amazing. Well, Kansas City, I want to raise my Olipop to the magical duo, the Meredith Grey and Christina Yang, if you will, of the Kansas City Current. My very dear friends, let's hear it for Kristen Hamilton and Elizabeth Ball.
Thank you guys.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you guys.
This is Scott. Not that many cheers the first time for Scott, but he's coming back.
When she did that barbecue thing, I thought she was like asking for a trade or something. That was like, I was like, wow, that was a bold move. They are incredible human beings, by the way. I mean, incredible footballers. Sam, they are incredible human beings.
I know, I have really great friends. It's really incredible.
And terrible tasting podcast co-hosts. Apart from Lynn Williams and Becky Sauerbrunn, who are amazing. Can do better than that. Apart from Becky Sauerbrunn and Lynn Williams, who are amazing. It's Becky Sauerbrunn's birthday today.
It is.
By the way, can I just tell you, listening to their podcast, Good Vibes FC, genuinely, it's a chaotic time in the world. That's me being slightly non-hyperbolic. The joy that you put into it is an honor to listen to on a weekly basis. So to the three of you,
thank you.
Godspeed.
Thanks.
Becky, Lynn, and
Thank you all so
Sammy
much. If
Riff.
you're listening, we really, really appreciate it. If not, you can subscribe to our podcast feed. You can watch us on YouTube. We're out here, Women's Game. Thanks.
up next, it is our astonishing joy to welcome one of the visionaries behind this transformation. After working on Wall Street, he decided to move to Kansas City to start a family and become totally and utterly obsessed with the game of football and become one of the co-owners of your Kansas City Current. I've got to say, watching the growth of this franchise from afar has been a thing of marvel. Kansas City, please be upstanding for one of your KC Current owners. It's Mr. Archduke Chris Long.
I still keep wondering if my dad should be here with all this Mr. Long stuff.
Mr. Long. Oh, Mr. Long, you and your partner, Mrs. Long. So let's talk about it. You and Mrs. Long.
It's caught on. Now I'm in trouble.
By the way, do you call her Mrs. Long? Or do you feel like familiar enough to call her like Longy or something?
Depends on the circumstance.
That's for another podcast when you're on Joe Rogan's podcast. You're working on Wall Street. We all know what that's like because we've all seen Michael Douglas and DiCaprio films. So it's just like that. But the point is, you both could have gone anywhere in the United States, but you were drawn to this magical kingdom of Kansas City. What made you decide you were going to build your lives, your family's lives, here in this incredible town?
I mean, Kansas City has it all. Literally, top to bottom. It's the most... oops, is it on?
It is on, but you got to talk into it.
Oh.
It's, two things are connected.
It's a novel idea.
I don't know. By the way, one of us made a fortune on Wall Street. And the other knows how to talk into a microphone. Go on. Yeah. By the way, I wasn't saying one was me and one wasn't. For you guests at home. Chris, sorry, Mr. Long.
Oh, boy. You know, you look and you hear the excitement, the energy, the vibe. This is Kansas City. I mean, it seriously has it all. I mean, you think about the love of sports here. You think about the financial and investment industry. You think about all the crown jewels on the arts and the culture and the inclusive nature of Kansas City. I mean, there isn't a thing here that I think you can't come here, notice right away, fall in love with it, and want to live here.
And the run for mayor starts tonight. By the way, you have 4 children. So, by the way, I have 4 kids. It's quite a lot. It's a busy world. So take us to the moment that you, Mr. Long and Mrs. Long, turned to each other and said, I think we're ready to take on another project. We're both in love with each other and we love football. Take us to that moment. What were you both sensing that led to that realization that you wanted to devote energy to a new member of the family, this football club?
I was coming off the 2019 Women's World Cup in Paris, France. We were just absolutely drawn to the global power of it all, the fact that countries were starting to invest, European countries, Australia, New Zealand. And we came back here to KC, and we know what KC stands for when it comes for sports, and we just had to bring a team here. It was almost like a calling that felt so easy and clear, and everyone talked about how much risk it was during the pandemic to do that, but it didn't feel like that. I mean, we really knew what we were doing and why we were doing it and what it would mean for the game and the community.
So it was watching that tournament. You were watching along like the rest of us at home, right? And we were watching that team, and by the way, again, one of us was making billions in Wall Street, another was actually winning the 2019 World Cup. Genuinely, I mean, it's amazing to hear tonight, Sammy.
Yeah.
We were watching you play football. All of us were inspired in our own way, but that was genuinely it. You were both watching that thinking, how can we engage with this? What can we do in this moment? Because that is stunning, that is beautiful. We want to play a part.
I mean, it all comes back to the players and the beauty of it. And I think just hearing, Ebal and Hammy, give Mr. and Mrs. Long a lot of credit. Honestly, this moment's not here without the players and what they've done, and obviously the Sam Muses of the world who have just crushed it. So we're just sort of advancing it and amplifying it, but the foundation was already there.
Well, the stadium is a huge part of this, the first stadium for a women's professional sports team in the world. After you decided to buy this club back in December of 2020, there were 124 days between the announcement of buying the club and your first game, which is literally so crazy. So you have to build the entire football club from the pitch to the rafters, essentially from the ground up. You needed a logo, a name, a jersey design, a coach, eventually a stadium, an entire technical and front office staff, including a nutritionist, and you needed to refresh a roster that didn't win in the first 13 games. So take us to those days as you build essentially this footballing startup. What was the craziest part of those 124 days, you and Angie together trying to build this?
Oh, wow, when you relive it like that, it's really...
It's traumatized, just like Ebal in the first game. He's like, I don't know.
I don't know. I might have to leave the stage now. It was, we had this, we didn't want to fail. And it caused us to work even harder, to work smarter, I remember carrying our first set of merchandise we got, which was like 10 hats, and it was really pathetic. And I'm like, carrying it to the warehouse myself, and I'm thinking to myself, what did I do? Like, oh boy, like, is this really the right move? But in all seriousness, first thing we did was we started finding the right people to surround the core, and we just went from there. And it's funny, like stories like, we didn't have chairs or anything, no chairs. But Kathy Nelson at the Sports Commission's like, we'll loan you the Big 12 chairs. And then we didn't have XYZ, we didn't have housing. We had to have housing within 30 days for the entire team. And we made calls, and they're like, on the Country Club Plaza, an owner said, I got it, we have some apartments for you. So, things like this don't get done without a village. And it took a lot of people to advance those early days because there was no time.
By the way, if you want to buy apartments, Hammy and Ebal, real estate brokers.
Well done.
Yeah. Good job, Raj.
Always be selling. But as Sam said, you did piece together everything from nothing. Take us to one of the weirdest and most surreal moments that you both had to get right.
Oh boy, you mean the first couple years?
The first 124 days, baby.
First thing was honestly to put together a coaching staff. And, I will be the first one to admit, and Angie would agree, we didn't really know how to do that. We had all the right intentions, and, obviously had player first mentality at the core, but, that was a big deal, right? That's where it all starts, back to the players. And then from there, honestly, the endless amount of important decisions didn't stop. We had initially no place to play. So we're putting together a coaching staff. We're trying to figure out what we're going to call ourselves. We have nowhere to play that's a grass pitch that has 10,000 seats to meet NWSL standards. It was like a little bit of a chaotic environment, to say the least. But we made the right decisions, and you sit here today, and I'm just so proud. I have a heart that's full of gratitude.
It sounds like the people you got involved, that was a really important part of the whole journey, was making sure that the club was insulated with the right people. And you do have another couple of partners in this endeavor. I want to hear a little bit more about one of your other co-owners, a former UT Tyler striker who played 1 year for UMF Afteralding Fram in the Icelandic 3rd Division, Brittany Mahomes. Up here, I know. Go Chiefs, I know. Her husband, Pat, would later join her as co-owner. So what have they brought to the operation as co-owners?
It's immeasurable, their impact, right? They're obviously one of the most powerful sports couples in the world. And when I think about just the sheer act of being active on social media, right, and the amplification of the brand, to the basically with, you think about Brittany, and she's so talented in so many respects, so authentic. She chaired our brand advisory committee, like the Kansas City Current, right? Everyone now, it's just, rolls off your tongue, and you see it in the airport, and it's all over the place. But she was the chair of that committee that really did all that work. So I'm, grateful that we had the opportunity to partner with them.
By the way, not a lot of people know this, though. We're going to call it the Kansas City Spurs. A historic name with legacy. But now to perhaps the most remarkable part of the story. Because once you had this team starting to come together, the ownership group, mind-bendingly in quick time, you began building a state-of-the-art home, what we now know, spoiler alert, as CPKC Stadium. Again, I've said this many times, but I can't get over this, and we can't say it enough. The first purpose-built for a professional women's soccer team in the entire world, in the entire span of human history and civilization, just so you know. Even, by the way, it's amazing. You get, even in prehistoric times, no. Reformation era, no. No medieval people. You didn't have one of them either. None of this. Only here, only now, in your time, in your town. Michelangelo, no. But it's now a reality. And I want you to take us back to the very seeds, the origin of the idea. I mean, it legit started in your breakfast table, in your home. Before CPKC, there was no stadium which had been purpose-built in this way. What gave you that big, bold idea? Why now and why here, Chris?
Well, for one, I mean, we kept thinking, if we're going to do this, we're going to do it to the best of our abilities and build the best club, best brand in the world. And like, what sports club that's been successful and is a generational brand does not have their own facilities, period, right? It seems common sense when you say it like that, but for some reason that was like an alien thought for so many when it came to women's sports. So that just was an easy one. And then I'm like fearful to go back to Wall Street for a moment because I don't know where that's going to take the conversation. But in all,
Go on. Keep going.
yeah, we can move on. It's good. But in all seriousness, it was helpful to have a background as an investor and be able to really look at it in terms of risk and return and what facilities mean. So you start with this, you want the success of the club, you want the best for the players, you want to be great and win championships. And then you sort of think, well, gosh, yeah, that, and oh, by the way, this makes financial sense.
Can I just say, this is an important thing you've just said, because we just heard Ebal and Hammy say, and you talk about, in the league, amongst the players, rumors that teams were going to fold, that the league would fold. You're someone who evaluates risk. And you're saying, there's no risk here. We're going to put roots down. We're going to build buildings, and these buildings are going to last for decades. I mean, this thing itself is a statement about risk and security.
100%. I mean, we evaluate risk every single day. And I think this product, this platform being women's sports, has very little risk. I really believe that. And I think you're starting to see the seeds of it sow in a lot of ways, including more people finally figuring that out. And I think, just watch out. I mean, this thing's a rocket ship.
So I feel like building the stadium, this is like maybe not a great metaphor, but I'm going to try it out anyways. It's kind of, it's a wedding season, you guys know. It's kind of like planning a wedding every single weekend for 11,000 people. But instead of like choosing band or DJ, you have to decide like what the faucets are going to look like in all the dozens and dozens of bathrooms. It's like kind of a crazy thing to have to figure out. So when you were planning the stadium, what was one of the most interesting details that you got caught up in that you wanted to really make sure you nailed?
Oh boy, I want to just quick add, there's so many people that are involved in the design, and so we are blessed to be surrounded by amazing architects, and I go down the list, but just I want to make sure and say that as I answer this question. I mean,
Shout out Frank Lloyd Wright.
Very interesting, got really obsessed with the art and the wallpaper and how much teal we can jam into the stadium.
Jammed it into the soap dispensers, we heard.
Yes, we had.
By the way, can we just pull up that photograph again? The last one of the fans. Because that gentleman on the front row, if you're listening along at home, there's a large, passionate, just gentleman who is losing his crap with a huge beard, his face is colored teal. And I just wonder, what was that man doing for like the first 28 years, 29 years of his life, waiting for this moment to have the excuse to paint himself in teal? Do you see the joy that you've given this city, Chris? It's amazing. But back to the wallpaper and the
Well, yeah,
artwork.
I mean, the wallpaper. You guys have been there. How's the wallpaper? How's the teal? They did good? Well, the stadium is obviously the star of the show, but something else that struck me when I was here, the stadium wasn't quite ready yet, but the $18 million training facility is nothing to scoff at either. It's the most incredible facility I have ever worked out of. The gym, the training room, the locker room. There's a boot room, a film room, a meal room with a chef, a hydrotherapy area. Do you guys know about that? I miss it every single day. Honestly, no expense was spared to make this facility a dream for players to work out of. Player comfort, even camaraderie, medical care, nutrition, it was all prioritized and considered when they built it. When you see your team train there, and then you know they have their own stadium to go play their games in, are you kind of like, yeah, we did it?
Oh, I feel like I'm unfortunately afflicted with a disease that's called always raising the bar, you know? So I don't feel like we've done it, but one thing I'm abundantly confident in is I watch that culture, that collaboration, you know, just seeing the players and how happy they are in that environment. And that's a reward that, you know, honestly, I just can't even believe I'm a part of.
I mean, you are, Chris, to be candid, and I am in awe of what you have built. The stadium is remarkable. The training ground is deeply significant. The fan base here is so passionate. By the way, for all forms of football. And that's what I'm most excited about as I leave here. And I feel you guys have ushered a new era in for the game that we love. One in which the infrastructure around women's football, both the playing arenas and the training infrastructure, which is where the players spend most of their time, is no longer an afterthought, a bolt-on, a high school football field requisition, but state-of-the-art. You've created a gold standard for the quality of football we dream about that will abound in our nation. But it lives here in Kansas City. And I do want to know why here, in your own words. Why did this first stadium, in what I hope, to be candid, will be the first of many that will be constructed in this next era of NWSL? You know, I hope Jessica Berman, the commissioner, is kind of known as like the builder commissioner. I hope that's like the legacy of this moment. But what is it about Kansas City, this place, this town, that made it the first?
Collaboration. You know, it's really hard to do big infrastructure projects, but the city welcomed it with open arms, and we, you know, obviously had to work across public entities, you know, obviously all the private financing, and what does that mean? And everybody saw what we were trying to do, and I think when you boil Kansas City down to a few different things, one of the things at the core is wanting, almost with like a chip on our shoulder, wanting to work even harder than the next group. Like, we always trying to prove something a little bit more. And so that drives people to want to participate in these types of projects and do it faster and better than anyone else.
God. And when you're watching a night game, by the way, I interviewed the owner of Town Topic Burger last night, and they had almost the same explanation of why they do what they do with those burgers, and it was magnificent. I was going to just get a double patty, and I got a triple instead. It's amazing. 3 o'clock in the morning. Talking about the evening, when you're watching a night game, when the current are charging forward, when Labonta's dropping some insane in the membrane celly, when the fans are going berserk, you and your wife, Mrs. Long, you look at each other knowing all you've poured into it, all you've dreamed of, and that you've made real, Chris. Every time I say Chris, I feel like I'm going to get struck by lightning, by the way. Chris. Oh my God. By the way, the people that made lightning noises right then, were you trying to manifest something? Don't answer that. Mr. Long, everything you poured into this, you've dreamed, you've made it real. When you watch it and what you feel inside, I know it's emotional and is probably best left inarticulate, but can you put it into words for us?
Oh, it's such a mix of emotions. I mean, you know, from, you know, literally crying, sobbing after the first game, afterwards, just trying to figure out how to just digest it all, to the exhilaration of watching these absolute superstars, like right there in our backyard, bringing it. I mean, it's just, it's constant. It's this range, and it changes every day. And I'll tell you, the one thing that I love, though, is I will now stop and pause, especially after we score. Thank you for scoring so many goals this year, Kansas City Current. And just looking at people's faces. We have a spot where we can sort of scan around, and the joy. Check it out next time we score. Take a moment, look around. It is, and we're going to score a lot, hopefully, on Sunday.
It's a joy.
Just saying.
You're bringing. By the way, I interviewed a man called Marcelo Bielsa, who's a very good football manager. He's a manager of Uruguay right now. And I asked him, what is the essence of football? And he said to me, he didn't have to wait a beat. He said, the essence of football is that it brings joy for those who find joy hard to find. By the way, in this city, it's not hard to find joy. But ultimately, when you look around that stadium, I want you to look at that large man with the little teal face and the beautiful beard. But you're looking at that, what that collective sense of memory making that you're all making in that stadium in that moment.
I mean, it's obviously our beloved friend back here. I adore him. He gives me so much energy. It's middle school boys. It's young, girls soccer teams. It's really, there's so much diversity and so many layers of, I think, inclusivity that exists at that stadium. It's a special place. And I hope that we just continue to fuel that fire, and people just want to be there as much as possible.
I love that answer. Let's see if we love this answer. I'm warning everybody, do you like barbecue? Can we ask for your favorite place?
I love barbecue.
Amazing. All right. Joe's, Arthur Bryant, tell us.
You do realize Joe's is in the stadium, correct?
As it should be. As it should be. Big Joe's girl.
I think my answer is Joe's.
Joe's. Do you have a go-to order?
Z-Man, side of fries, maybe some barbecue mayo.
Nice. All right. That's my order. Whoever's getting us food after this, that's what I want. So, Chris, before we let you go, Angie, your wife, after games, she has a tradition of celebrating. Listen to this. I'm sure you all already know. She heads to the pitch club and savors some special champagne. And there has been a lot to savor lately. Her Instagram, I love this, it has this quote of a picture of her drinking champagne. Living in the moment, appreciating this life of ours when the good times roll. I just really love that. I think you should always celebrate and appreciate the good moments like that. So I want to do that right now. I want to raise our Olipops again. To you, to Angie, Barbie, I know. Chris likes the Barbie Peaches and Cream Olipop. To Living in the Moment, to the Kansas City Current, congratulations, and may the good times keep rolling.
Kansas City, Mr. Long.
You can, it's yours. That was great. Mr. Long, what a treat. Oh my God.
Oh, shit.
This is foreshadowing, you guys.
For those who don't know, that's the bomb hot sauce. Can I just tell you, if any of you do know that gentleman with the blue teal face and the beard, can you please email meninblazers@gmail.com? Because he, to me, is everything that's great about football.
I feel like he's got to be here.
We're coming back in a couple of weeks' time. I would love to meet. I'm sure someone here knows that person. I would love to meet that person. That gentleman gives me life and love, and the world needs that vibe right now. I will say no more, but Sammy, let's do it.
Okay, so next up, everybody, we wanted to dig deeper into this city and this region and truly revel in it. So it is such a joy to welcome somebody who has eaten their way through Kansas City several times and somehow still gets up to eat some more. You know her as a food influencer. She has 8 million followers across her YouTube and TikTok feeds, where she describes herself as a professional amateur cook. And I appreciate her so much because She lets us see her try and fail and try and fail and laugh along the way, which I just really, really love. Also, as you all know by now, Raj is like 79% burnt ends at this point. So what this guest is going to help us show is that the Kansas City food scene contains so much barbecue and more. It's really more like jazz and everything that it has to offer. So please welcome, stand up and applaud for Lisa Nguyen. Oh my God.
Yeah. So this isn't even the one they use on the Hot One show, which is the Beyond Insanity. So apparently that one broke backstage. So we had to clean it up. They got the fumes and everything. So
Oh my God.
this is the very tame version. It's only 10,000 Scoville. So if either of you
That
wanna
one's
try
3
it.
times hotter than the one that Conan O'Brien applied as mascara. But Lisa, it is such a joy to be with you. There is so much that I admire about the way you honestly, you attack life. Even if it's something as personally terrifying as your 31-day spice challenge, in which you built up to that 7.1 million Scoville chili extract, which is about 3 times hotter than the hottest pepper of all time, which you all know as the Carolina Reaper. My pause, honestly, when I watch your videos, which I love to watch because you are a magnificent storyteller, but quick one. What's the secret to handling the spice fire?
Just be like prepared to cry. But no, honestly, people don't realize this, but you have to prep the body. So I learned this from my first spicy challenge, is that you have to drink milk and eat bread to coat the stomach. Then you eat the spicy food, and then that way you don't need to go to the ER at 4 in the morning. So, that is the key.
How many years of the milk and the bread?
This has been 3 years in the making, I think, so building the spice tolerance.
God.
Well, Raj has a belly full of burnt ends. Do you think he could handle it?
I do, so here.
I
Oh
think-
my God.
Well,
If you'd like to try it.
by the way, I am going to end up draining that whole bottle before the end of this segment. But I want to be, while I can still actually have the power of speech, I want to talk a little bit about you, because there's a lot I admire about you. One of the things is how much you evidently, clearly, passionately love this town. You're a season ticket holder for your mighty Kansas City Current. But first things first, you grew up 200 miles west in Wichita. How many of you are from Wichita? God bless. 3 of you and 2 of you are pretending out of empathy and joy, and I really appreciate that spirit. But you've really taken on the role of Kansas City evangelist. How would you describe the soul of this city to someone who's never been here, who's listening along at home? I mean, you made this journey. Why should I uproot my entire family and move here? Or I guess I'm asking, what is the case I make to my family when I go home and tell them that we're moving?
I think, so like the biggest persuasion is the cost of living in Kansas City is just so much lower than the other bigger cities out there. I mean, we've got amazing food here. We've got the Chiefs, we've got the Royals, we've got the freaking KC Current here. Like, I don't know what more you could ask for. Also, like, I think like something that people don't talk about that much is how nice we are. And I know that sounds weird, but every time I can persuade my friends from New York City or LA to come out here to Kansas City, the first thing that I always notice within the first day is like, why are people so nice? Why are they talking to me in the elevator? Why are they talking to me while we're in line ordering food? And for me, growing up in Wichita, Kansas, as a Midwestern, like, that's just normal to me. So you don't notice it until others describe it to you. So we're nice here, so come to Kansas City because of that reason. I don't know.
Lisa, that's honestly one of the first things I noticed about here too. I'm from New England. I'm from 20 miles south of Boston. I freaking love it there. But when I came here, I was like, yeah, people really are so nice. It's like, am I doing something like, what's happening here? But when I lived here, my husband, Pat, who's in the food industry, he worked as a cook at Corvino Supper Club. I know, it's so good. It quickly became one of my favorite restaurants in the whole world. I think that they kind of taught me about what hospitality really means. It's new American food. They have live music all the time. I'm sure you all know all about it. But the way the staff there treats their guests, it really makes you feel at home. Like, they would remember things about what I liked and the things that I would order, and it was so genuine. Like, it wasn't like a front. It was like they really meant it, and they wanted you to feel at home there and to be hospitable. It's an incredible restaurant. The burger, even the seaweed donuts, which at first I was like, this is crazy. Everything is so delicious. But a lot of cities have incredible food scenes, and I want to know, in your opinion, what is it about the Kansas City food scene that makes it so singular?
I think a big part of it is it's the opposite of what people think. And I know most people here in Kansas City, and so we all know it's more than just the barbecue. Everyone else thinks we're just known for barbecue, the meats, but we've got amazing Thai food, Indian food, African food, Ethiopian food. Like, there's just such a diverse range of food here, and I want people to know that.
Yeah, we're about to see some of your coverage of the stadium, but Waldo Thai is like one of the best restaurants I've ever been to.
My favorite restaurant in the city.
So good. Okay, so we did have some ice cream today, and I want to know, do you have a strong preference between Betty Ray's and High Hopes? I know.
High Hopes is the top for me, is my favorite in the city.
We have another
Yeah.
spot to hit, Raj.
Yeah.
We had Betty Ray's this morning,
By the
like
way,
literally for
Betty Ray's
breakfast.
is good.
It was very good.
Just so you know, we had that ice cream for breakfast.
I got cereal milk. It was fine. It was great.
It's breakfast.
I'd be remiss if I didn't shout out to the peanut. It was so good. Why have tiny chicken wings when in Kansas City you can come and somehow eat chicken wings that are bigger than any chicken I've ever seen in my life?
While we're shouting out, can I shout out campground too? Yes? Thanks. That's all I had to say.
Lisa, are they really chickens, those wings are from in the peanut?
They're pretty ginormous, but yeah, you have to share an order for sure.
There's a reason that dodos died out in the world. And I think the peanut played a large role in that. But there's another thing I love about you, which is that you, Lisa Nguyen, are proper football. And I know you spent 4 years as a sweeper at Friends University in Wichita, Kansas. Up your Friends Falcons! Take us back to the days. Tell us what kind of footballer you were, and really the role football played in your life, your relationships, your worldview.
Soccer was a big part of my life in college. It was like everything that I like dreamt it, like everything. I would just think about soccer all day, every day. Like, who cares about school at that point? Which is really bad because I'm paying for it. But 4 years of soccer, it's all I could think of. And I unfortunately tore my ACL, my left ACL, my junior year. And we didn't know it was torn, but I played through it with my brace, and then we found out after that it was torn. So that kind of sucked. Then I still, all I could think about was soccer. I was like, this is my life. I was playing at Friends. I mean, it's a D4 school. It's not like I'm going to play professionally. But then senior year, I tore my other ACL, and I was like, yeah, I know. Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah. Sorry with you as
Thanks.
well. Yeah.
So sad. Should we all cry for a sec?
Yeah. I mean, I was in the physical therapy room. I was sitting there, and I just knew the second time what it was, and I was just sitting there crying. There's people from the football team coming in, like, consoling me, and I'm like, nah, it's done.
You told me
But
you
yeah.
you told me you were devastated. It was like the loss of an identity.
Yeah, because for 4 years, again, I didn't care about school. I really hope my parents aren't watching this, but but soccer was all I could think about, and I couldn't watch soccer for years after I graduated because I was so depressed. And but then, I got back into it, and now I've got this amazing KC current team to watch. That makes me feel so much better. So yeah, it was devastating though. But then I found food. I don't know if that's, yeah.
Food and football really can heal anything.
Yes.
I know. I really feel for you when I hear you say that. It was hard for you to watch. I understand that, and I'm really sorry that you went through that, but I'm glad that food and football have kind of brought you back. We know you're a huge Kansas City Current fan and a season ticket holder who brings a rotating cast as your +1 to the games. You're so invested in the team, we've seen videos of you watching the games like this as if it's like a horror movie,
Yeah.
but obviously it's not been a horror movie this season at all. So, Lisa, describe for us a little bit, what does CPKC Stadium feel like to watch the team win, to sit there, to try all the amazing food, to experience the game? What's the energy like at the stadium?
I guess first off, I want to say, so I live in the River Market area, so I've been able to see the direct impact of the stadium. I've been there since winter of last year, so right now, like before every game, people show up hours before the game. They go visit the businesses around the area, not even just the River Market area, but like all downtown. They visit, they support those businesses, and then you like start walking on this trail towards the stadium, which is this beautiful trail. And then you see school buses drive by with the shuttles, and you're just like, you're just waving at the, the buses.
Everybody's being so nice.
They're so nice, so nice. Just that Midwestern nice, but just it's a beautiful walk along the river. You make it to the stadium, and it is just lit. It is just fire. Everyone, it's just good vibes, and you watch the game. I close my eyes during the corners. I just can't do it, but. Then we're undefeated, so it's all good. Then on the way home, I actually will grab High Hopes. I'll grab the little container and walk home, and it's just amazing. Like, I am just so proud to be a Kansas City and just here in the moment, watching this amazing team play for this amazing city.
So you have this new stadium. I don't know if you know, it's on the south bank of the Missouri River. But I mean, when I say that, I feel like that dude in Wayne's World, just like dropping facts. It's the Berkeley Riverfront Park. You've talked about how fans pour in on the Riverfront Heritage Trail. You've got 11,500 people alongside you, marching, chanting. You enter the first stadium purpose-built for pro-women's sports teams in the world. You know, there's always been a passion for football in this city. I've always loved coming here. You know, to come and watch Sporting Kansas City, to come and watch the different iterations of the women's team here. There's a remarkable tradition in this town, in this place. But can you put into words, Lisa, how this stadium has changed the entire city?
Like I said with like the last answer, the direct impact it has had on just downtown. Just the support that people have been able to give to the businesses down there has been amazing. And also to know like my siblings who have never watched soccer in their entire lives talk about the KC Current, I said says a lot. But no, I think it's nothing but good things for the city.
Well, so you visited and you made a video of all the food that fans can eat in the stadium, and it's more food than one person should eat in one visit, or maybe could eat in one visit, which is what I think of a lot of your videos, but I have mad respect for them. I want to watch this video of all the food in the stadium right now.
This is CPKC Stadium, the world's first stadium built for a women's professional team, home to the KC Current, also home to some of the best stadium food I've ever had. Here are some of the local food options you'll be able to order during the soccer matches this season. Starting off with the Z9 brisket sandwich from Joe's Barbecue. Then we've got Waldo Thai served with lemongrass pork with chili garlic sauce, and my favorite appetizer, crab salad. Martin City Brewery will be serving a Friday pizza along with some of the beers on tap. Blue Jeans Juicery will have this beautiful acai bowl with a pinch. Room 39 will have whole roasted roots with green goddess yogurt. This KC Current bowl is from Billy's Grocery and has chicken, bok choy, carrots, and more. My favorite ice cream shop in Kansas City, High Hopes, will be selling their ice cream for a sweet treat. And local pit will have smoked barbecue sausage. This had to be my first bite out of the stadium. I'm excited to see so many local places, including the East Line.
At the new KC Current Stadium.
TikTok star. Oh my gosh.
I have to say, that was a struggle to get under a minute. Like, we have so many food options at the stadium. I was like, how do I get this all under a minute? But
Well, you
we made it
nailed
work.
it. Well, what's your favorite, or what are you going to get this weekend?
This weekend I'll be in Chicago, but My brother and his girlfriend got my tickets, so I'll ask
Oh.
them. But last time I got the sausage from Local Pig, and then I'm gonna get the probably pad thai from Waldo Thai the next time I go.
Nice.
And then
Sounds
always
amazing.
High Hopes ice cream. I'm not sponsored by them, but I love their ice cream.
High hopes. You have a big fan here with a lot of followers, so I'd snatch her right up.
By the way, this photo here, for those of you listening on pod, go to YouTube and watch this. This is exactly what I had for breakfast this morning in Kansas City. But with a few more beers. Lisa, for a second, dream with me. What I love about this stadium, the present is amazing. The future, where it goes, is honestly the most scintillating. A whole generation of young Kansas City and girls and boys are going to grow up treating the fact that a pro women's soccer team plays in its own state-of-the-art venue with elite training infrastructure as just a delicious new norm. And you project that forward. How does this energy, this momentum grow, develop in this beating heartbeat of a Kansas City footballing wonder?
I think it's very inspiring. I have a cousin, he is 10 and he plays in Wichita, but he travels to Kansas City almost every weekend for soccer tournaments. And I can't wait to take him to the stadium and show him just how amazing the sports is here. He's already heard all about it and like just to be able to take him, but it's just inspiring for the next generation of kids, for everyone to see. I think growing up, maybe I just wasn't aware of everything that was happening. But yeah, I don't know. This is just going to be really great for them.
For sure. This has been such an amazing trip to such an amazing city. I'm so excited for this team. But before we leave, we need to get Raj a meal that isn't beef. Where might we be able to take him that we haven't talked about yet on here that's maybe a little bit lighter?
I heard you guys were saying the downtown area. I would highly recommend Blue Nile Cafe. They've got really good vegetarian platters. But yeah, I mean, there's just something for everyone here. So I don't know.
Just describe the Blue Nile. Sell it to me a bit more, because I'm like thinking meat.
They have meat options, but they've got Ethiopian food and they've got injera. So it's like this, I don't want to say this wrong, but it's like this bread or vehicle that you use to pick up some of the vegetarian dishes that they have. But it's like a whole variety. You can get like 10 different ones on one platter.
Sounds beautiful.
Yeah.
Shout out to the Blue Nile. Shout out to Lisa.
Yeah, Lisa Nguyen, your team has yet to lose this season, so we raise our Olipop in the hope that the Kansas City current continue to live up to the glory of your surname, to you and the joy you bring in the city you love. Cheers. Thank you, Lisa.
Kansas City, let's be upstanding for Lisa Nguyen.
I'm sorry, Raj, I didn't mean to shame you.
Which
But
part?
you're kind of concerning me.
Which part shame me?
Just the food part, the meat shaming.
No shame.
Is that a thing?
There can be no meat shaming. Sam, you coffee shamed me in the messenger today when I ordered hot coffee, and in front of the whole staff there, you shouted, "Hot coffee? During the day, 84 degrees, are you a ghoul?" was what she shouted. I'll take meat shaming any day of the week, baby. And we're in the right town for it. A ghoul. So amazing. The word choice was just so sumptuous. Sammy, God, this has been amazing, honestly. It's gone like this, but it is time for a final guest. We're going to have Mr. Longback. Mr. Long 2, Electric Boogaloo. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, we'll do that in a minute.
Okay.
But first, we have a remarkable human being coming to be with us. Someone known and loved and revered by each and every one of you here. One of the most charismatic forces in the American game. She's a pride of Rancho Cucamonga, California. Guys, you don't know who it is yet. It could just be anyone from Rancho Cucamonga. I'm going to narrow it down. She graduated from Stanford with an engineering degree, which I think she mostly uses now to engineer perfect goal celebrations. I love watching her week in, week out, so bloody much, just for the way she takes the act of scoring a goal and makes it truly transcendent, forges collective memories for all of us. She's an incredible human being, a true original. Please be upstanding for that penalty smashing, corner flag twerking, Sally Queen herself, Kansas City. Here's your one, your only, the singular empress of Kansas City football, Labonta!
Lou!
How lucky are we?
I was about to just shotgun this too.
Good for your gut. Good for your gut. Okay, Lo, welcome. Your career has really been aligned with Kansas City ever since the beginning. You joined FCKC in 2016, and then you spent 3 weird years out in the wilderness with the core of the team at the Utah Royals, but you came straight back here when you could to your kind of home, in a way, in 2021. What do you remember about those early FCKC days as just like a young player in the NWSL?
Oh my gosh. Well, full circle moment, right? Black was my coach again. Started with Desi Scott. She's been with me this entire time. Yes. Legend. You know, having both of you on the team as well. But people ask me, like, what's changed? And I'm like, well, Blacko's English got better.
He's been doing his skincare. He's looking younger.
Looks great. But you know, so much, like we had a great, and shout out to the Blue Crew, you were with us from the get-go. But yeah, we were at, you know, Swope Park. We had a great soccer field, but we didn't have a locker room. And it's always funny because bringing Desi Scott back up again, like we bring the vibes, the music's bumping before the game, but we only had a common room. So like we were out here dancing and Black was like setting the lineup and he was like, I don't know how you guys have this much energy. And it was just, you know, a full moment, brought us all together. Now, like you saw, we have our own locker room. I don't remember that video. I don't know who's filming me dancing in the locker room, but happens all the time.
How does Flacco look younger now than he did in 2014?
Probably that paycheck from the national team job. I don't know. Wouldn't know. I wouldn't know.
I gotta say, paying off your college loans is one of the great moments in anybody's life. The relief takes years off. But Lou, you've seen this team. Oh my God.
You got Raj good. Raj is gonna need a minute.
Flacco, if you're listening, still time to come down here to the Madrid Theatre. Talk to us about your diet regimen because we are fascinated. But we're going to take that as a human truth. You have seen a lot in this town. You've seen this team, this league, from the inside for years now. You still carry the memories and the scars of the early days. 2016, you first moved here. The places you had to trade, places you had to change. now you do so inside a $80 million training facility. You've got a hot tub, you've got a chef. When you walk to work every morning, does this now feel like the new normal? Which, by the way, at a certain point, it will and it should. Or at this moment, are you just like full of appreciation for how far this club has come so fast? Where are you in that arc?
Yeah, I think you can live in the moment 100%, appreciate everything you have. And that's exactly what we've done. I mean, you guys talked about how, when we started here and they had 100 days. I mean, we felt that for sure in the beginning. Felt like it took 100 days and that's what we came up with. But they knew that was not going to be okay. They were not okay with that. We knew that. They were investing and when I say they, I mean Mr. and Mrs. Long. Like, he was up there with us. He was like, I hope it doesn't stick. I'm like, I already texted the group about it.
Yeah.
Like, it's
Ebal,
So
like,
sorry.
thank you for this content that will be used forever.
exactly, forever.
By the way, that's incredible. We're going to see a scientific study for how quickly a awful joke that the owners don't like becomes official club merch. There's going to be mugs, Mr. and Mrs. Long. It's a lot funnier when you make money off it, but go on.
Yes, and also, so the Longs and the Mahomes, now Mahomes as well. But they, that next year, we invested a lot in obviously getting Sam Mewis and Lynn Williams here. That was And then we get the training facility, right? And then we go on this unbeaten streak. We make it to the finals, and it just showed, thank you. It just shows the investment you need. I think the best thing I'm most grateful for is the training facility because I'm there every single day. Roger, my husband, when it comes time to dinner, he's like, where are you? And I'm like, still at the facility. Like, I'm not leaving this place. It's amazing. I love it here. There's food here, great showers, the hydrotherapy. There's a massage therapist there. Like, I'm not coming home, bro. Like, make yourself dinner. But then we get this stadium, and you see teal everywhere, and I was fortunate enough to be part of the Big Slick game this last weekend. Raised almost $4 million for Children's Mercy. Like, that's unreal, but that's Kansas City showing out.
By the way,
But my point being at that game is there are people from all over the world that came. Peter Schrager from NFL was wearing a Casey Current hat to the baseball game. And I was like, that just shows how much of a wave we're making, not in Kansas City. Like, believe me, the support here is great, but the fact that it's going internationally, globally, just shows what we're doing here.
By the way, it is amazing. I'm still thinking about poor Roger because I do emotionally connect to poor Rogers, thinking what he now has to build into the home, the chef, the hydrotherapy.
Lo deserves it.
Thank you.
But important one. Can you describe how all this wonder that you've lived off the field, the investment, the facilities, really the seriousness that this game has long deserved, but you are now beginning to experience, and it will continue to ramp up. This, I hope, is just the beginning, Lo. How has it translated to the plate on the field?
100%. I know our team just posted this not too long ago, but you talk about we got the training facility, we have this unbeaten streak, and now we have the stadium, and we're still unbeaten. We hope to not only match, but go past that from the last time we did it, and obviously take it to the finals, all those big things. But it just shows that the results come from investing in women and investing in our sport, in our facilities. That's the result of it. Also, can we just recognize that this is like the Mahomes and Longs like side hustle? That they're just doing this because they were like passionate, want to do something good. This is not their day job.
Oh boy, that's pretty
Casual.
It's pretty casual. Wow. Well, Lo, I feel like we've been in the league about the same amount of time, and I feel like there were years that Raj mentioned this earlier. We'd kind of like worry in the off season, like there would be rumors maybe a team was going to fold, or maybe even that the league was going to fold. And during the course of our careers, that concern is like pretty much all the way gone. The NWSL seems like it's like thriving. Clubs like the Kansas City Current are building their own stadiums. With all that we've been through and what we see now, like, do you have new hopes for the future that we obviously never could have imagined 10 years ago? Like, what can we imagine and dream women's soccer will become in the U.S.?
Yeah, believe me, I never imagined we were gonna have our own stadium. That was never a thought in my mind. Like, back in the day, we were literally printing out Nike signs and like ironing it on our practice gear.
What? Just explain that. You're printing them out like on a Hewlett Packard printer, like pop, 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 and then cutting them out and ironing them on.
100%. They were also, I don't have anything Nike on, but you know, like the normal sign, they were also like this big. And we're like, okay, that surely is illegal. But
They're like backwards. You're like,
just do it sometimes. Like, but that's old times.
yeah. Now you have teal soap.
Oh my gosh, unreal. The amount of teal I see in this city. It's like just my dreams. That's all I see now. It's just a wall of teal. And I love it.
Beautiful.
Yes, but the girls talked about it earlier. We set the standard here about investment, you know, having the stadium, training facility. I don't think anybody can beat our fan base because surely we've set a record for most sold out games, like in a season, back to back to back. Like someone can fact check me. I'm just throwing things out, but
I love
don't
that
know,
about you, Lo.
right?
Just keep throwing things out.
In
It's
human
fine.
history.
That's how I got my Stanford degree. Just threw things out. Nobody fact checked them. I got through. But it is the standard now, and we're just setting the bar. And like Eva and them said, people are going to try and catch up, and then the Longs and Mahomes are just going to raise it again. And I'm along for the entire ride.
It is amazing. By the way, children listening at home who want to get to Stanford, just make shit up with confidence. There's a lesson you take from this. And also, if anyone wants to buy rare Nike sneakers, Lo can hook you up.
I'll send you my Etsy account.
I will, by the way, authenticate all of them. But you are a trendsetter. You're a leader, a pathfinder in your own way. You have sparked, we all know this, a goal celebration craze that started here in this city, has been copied by people, I don't know if you've heard of him, someone called Travis Kelce. And someone else, Take Kubo, the Japanese fireball, and Real Sociedad. This has gone global, this celebration. We need to talk about it. Let's relive an iconic moment in football. By the way, this is actually bigger than the stadium, if we're being honest. Am I right? Labonta.
I don't know if we have that much time.
A penalty kick. By the way, if you'd missed this, the world would be completely different. I don't like to be hyperbolic. If Lo had missed this kick, democratic norms as we know them may have fallen. But she hit it. By the way, the thing that's lost in this moment, sorry to keep going on, it's a bloody good penalty, but no one talks about it. It's amazing. A spoiler alerted. We don't know if she scores or not. A penalty kick against Angel City FC 2022 roll tape.
Look,
This is fucking amazing.
it's a massive screen for this. Putting the ass in massive screen for sure.
You're welcome. Yeah, I know. If you are just listening to this, we do have a picture on screen of Lo Labonta's, I have to say, twerk positioning, and it's incredible. It's incredible. Some other iconic sellies that Lo has pulled off and the team has helped her with, the trust fall, the Rockettes dance line, the golf, and then this most recent one, the baby. What?
A baby.
The baby.
Oh, KC, baby.
I get it now.
Yes, thank you.
I get it now.
Because my husband did not get that reference.
By the way, can we just talk about, there's some awful Rogers in this world. Roger Goodell, Roger Clemens, Roger Bennett, and then there's some incredible Rogers. Roger Espinoza. And this poor bastard. So you do the twerk to celebration, Sally. What happens to poor Roger Espinoza? Because you came on my show right after this and you told me this, and I love this.
Well, I mean, every man, ex-teammate, they were just sending him this video of me.
And then you do the KC baby celebration, and then what happens to poor Roger Espinoza?
Everybody was calling him like, finally, you guys are pregnant. Can confirm I am not.
Breaking news.
We have, Roger, my husband and I have this tradition.
The good Roger.
Yeah, sorry, I have to keep clarifying this.
By the way, she sent me a message today because I went up the First World War Tower, and I just got a message in Instagram from Lo just saying, me and Roger got married on top of that tower. And
He was like, no, I didn't.
I was like, what are you talking about? I love my wife. And then I realized it's the good Roger. It's Roger Espinoza. But go on, this is not about me.
So we have this tradition at the home games where, you know, I do my lap thanking all the fans, and I end with him, and he always hands me a beer. In this game, he was like, so... I was like, give me that thing, and I chugged it.
By the way, young marrieds, this communication is the most important part of a sustained relationship. I've got a very quick one, Sammy, before we go deep on the methodology behind this wonder, this frankly madness. Can we talk about the fake injury to Twerk Sally? Just tell us the backstory, the idea, the training, the amount of preparation that went into this, because every detail when you watch it is breathtaking.
Oh, thank you. Well, first off, I don't know how old I can't see a lot of people in here, but if you guys are old enough to remember the MTV Hits and MTV Jams days, that's when my preparation started for that twerk like that. But no, I think for a lot of that season, you know, I'm clearly not a serious person at all, and I wanted to celebrate my teammates, and I was not scoring at all. So I think for a few weeks I had that celebration planned, and then I got the PK. I was like more nervous about doing my celebration than the PK. But I knew I had to sell it. I actually did tell my athletic trainer, like, look, if I score, I'm gonna do this. Like, I'm not hurt, don't worry. And I think that's why you saw like a genuine reaction from my teammates, because they had no idea at all. And neither did my father when he saw it on TV. Element of surprise, that's how you do it, and I love it. And I will take all suggestions for new ones.
Well, that's exactly what we want to talk about next. Thank you. We want to know the creative process. Like, is this a discussion with your teammates? Do you have time allotted after training to train the cellies? Are you the director? Are you taking notes from everybody? Are you accepting ideas from fans, teammates alike? Like, what goes into the making of one of these celebrations?
Well, I think I always want them to be unique. I mean, you have Bia, who is unreal. Best number 9, I think, in the world. And every time I ask her, I'm like, hey, new celly? And she's like, no, same. And I'm like, all right, just keep scoring. You do what you want. Like, that's the only one. I will let her take another person's celly and continue to do it because she just does what she does, and she's amazing at it. But I do like for it to be unique. So if you saw when Gabby Robinson, for example, scored, that was hype. And I don't know what her celebration was, but she had told me the day before, like, this is what I want to do. executed it perfectly. And I wish I could just pull up videos like
Just describe it for those
so
who didn't
she
see
does
it.
like this little bowling thing, and then she like brings it here and does a body roll, and I knew she was doing that. So when you film it, like you'll see me behind her, like, I don't know, doing this like goofy thing. Hers is swaggy, I'm goofy, but I tell them all the time, like, I will be a part of your celebrations. And Hammy, for example, Hammy last year was like, I love doing the leg guitar. And I was like, oh, well,
I
I'm gonna
remember.
rock on behind you. Like, I will do whatever you want me to do. So I like when people come and explain, like, or just say, I wanna do this. And I'm like, how can I help? Where can I
Yeah.
be? I'm gonna start getting props. Like, I will do that.
And the amazing thing about all of this is one of the most creative selling minds in the world of global football, men's or women's, and not a lot of people know this, is Vlatko Andonovski.
Interesting.
Guys, he pretends not to like it. But in real life, on the training ground,
I'll tell you a story about this
please,
real quick.
he's like, guys, do the worm.
Yeah.
Watch me moonwalk, motherfuckers.
That's funny. The day you get Vlatko to cuss even, that would be amazing. But we're at training practicing PKs, and I was like, Vlatko, what should my next goal selling be? He was like, Lo, do you think I care what your goal sellings are? I was like, no, and then we moved on. And
By the way you've just done Vlatko's accent, it made him sound like he says things like, if he dies, he dies.
I think I just have like, even from 2016, like, Lo, are you kidding me? I hear that all the time. In my dreams, and or nightmares, and then it's just the teal wall still.
So, Lou, Vlatko's not here. Don't know if you've noticed. And Vlatko, by the way, if you are listening to this, and I know you're listening to this, you can still come down to the Madrid Theatre and clear your name about all of these realities. But apart from Vlatko, no one's watching this. So, by the way, Vlatko is currently in a pair of underpants with a gold chain, just doing like moves in the mirror. He does. Everything that Lou does.
I think I would rather chug this than picture that.
I know. I don't even play anymore. I'm like, I'm stressed. I'm like, Raj, Vlatko's the coach. All right.
Well, he does. Vlatko goes home after a win, and in the privacy of his own home, he's like, I do the twerk to Sally. I do the twerk to Sally. He does. But can you talk a second to tell us what's the one Sally that you've never yet unfurled that you've been training for your whole life since the MTV Jams days? Talk us through it. Show it to us if you want. I mean, the stage is yours. Just talk us through the perfect Labonta Sally.
Yeah, I 100% will not tell you that one, but I'll tell you one that I really, really have always wanted to do, and I'm gonna give a shout out to Sam Kerr's backflip. Like that would be so sick.
Can you do it?
No, and that's why I think it's like something I've always wanted to do because I cannot.
Well, we gotta get you some gymnastics lessons.
I know. If you guys saw, I think it was last year, I did a round off to a twerk, and that's the closest I got.
We saw.
Yo, if we could get Sam Kerr to do her backflip to twerk. Oh my God.
I have a connection.
Yes,
I can
please.
maybe
Put in a good
suggest
word.
it.
Yes.
Okay.
By the way, these sound like some of the greatest finishing UFC moves of all time. And he finished him off with a black flip to twerk. I also love how amazing you are that I asked you, tell us the one that you'd love to do. You're like, I won't tell you that one, but here's one I will give you. You could have just BS'd us and been like, here's the one I'd love to do. By the way, I'd love it now if you just, in front of all of us on this stage, just did that backflip for the first time.
That'd be sick. Into a crowd surf.
Sammy.
Okay, so when you came back to Kansas City in 2021, the team didn't have a name yet. The club was being built, as we've talked about, and this whole identity needed to be built from scratch. It was like a startup company, but you guys had some players, and you knew you had games coming up in less than 124 days. So out of nowhere, you came up with a chant. And it's become the cheer that the team uses before you go out for games. It's become part of the club's identity. All the games start with this chant at the stadium. The Mahomes led it. During the first game in the new stadium, how did you come up with KC Baby? And what has the cheer come to mean to the team?
So, can we just talk about what our team was called in the beginning? Do you guys remember? It was KC Woso NWSL ABCDEFGH. There were so many letters in that.
Go
so
KC, whoa, so,
Yes,
and WSL.
Yes.
You're
too
welcome.
long,
All you
too
had to do was ask me. I could have came up with it.
But it was, it was just in the moment. We had never thought about it even heading into our first training. It was literally at the end of training when you all come together. You're like, hey, great work today, you guys. Let's break it down.
2, 4, 6,
Yeah.
8.
We're like, I don't know what to say. And so it was just, all right, we're Kansas City, but we don't want to say like Kansas City. So it was very basic. I don't know. I was like, oh, something like KC, baby.
Was it you?
Yes, but I was like joking around. I was like, oh, like a KC, baby.
And now it's like the heartbeat of the whole
yes.
city.
And it's my favorite time it is used now is when we do kickoff. The entire stadium goes KC, baby. And the other team, you can just see them like freeze for a second because it's so loud and it's chilling, and I love it. I take it back. That may be my second favorite thing. My first favorite thing is when we, in our stadium, has scored so much and that our fans are like, we want 6. I'm like, God damn.
Well, Lo, I hope that you get 10 cents every time somebody says KC Baby. It sounds like this crowd already knows how to do this. So, Lo, we're going to ask you if you could lead us at the Madrid Theatre in a KC Baby chant.
Absolutely.
I don't know if Raj is going to be able to remember all the words, but I think the crowd already knows it.
Yes. All you have to know is on baby, you got to like drop it a little. You got to have some swag. It's a real thing. Or you can like drop it like twerk.
She's mistaking me with Vlatko.
Are you guys all ready? I know you all know.
She doesn't even need to explain it.
Yeah.
They already know exactly what to do.
Know. Oh my God.
There
Yes,
you
that's
are.
exactly how I want to look after this. Be as loud as you can. Can I get a KC baby on 3? 1, 2, 3. KC baby. Yeah.
That was really good. I even did this.
Yes.
I did it. We have one more question for you.
I love that a joke you started has just become such an incandescent part of the culture here. Like Mr. and Mrs. Long. But last question for you, Lo. This league continues to grow and grow and grow. You are living proof. You are on SportsCenter on repeat for your celebrations. You're an institution. There's now a soccer-specific listening stadium right on the banks. You know where it is? It's the Missouri River, kids. And you call it home. You've lived through so many iterations of the game here. I mean, to be candid, it ends wonderfully. You have ground your way through some true challenges for the game that you love. You know this area so well. Your beautiful husband, Roger Espinoza, that long-suffering bastard, is a sporting Kansas City hero in his own right. By the way, I've watched him play in Honduras, and that man is a king. In the same way as you have defined yourself here, really as the soul of a team, the soul of a culture, the soul of, the joy that you bring. Can you put into words what it is about this region that's made it such a pathfinder for American footballing culture in this moment, on the field and with the fan culture of it?
Yeah, I mean, how much time do I have? Because I've been here for 6, 7 years now, and I know 3 of those years I was gone in Utah, when you said in the wilderness, because we don't really have that here. But believe me, every off day we had, I was coming back here, whether it was for a game, just to see my husband one time out of 3 months. But it's the love the city has for their sports teams, one that I felt immediately, and you especially. I mean, you were our PR team for your year here. I think you were out in the community all the time.
I had to do something. Yeah.
Well, you brought the fans, so thank you.
Sorry, everybody.
But no, but they always ask, like, what is it? And I think Lisa touched on it earlier. The people are really nice here, but it's not fake nice. It's genuine. Like, they're asking you how you are. They want to talk to you. They want to see where you're improving, what they can do to help you improve. And also, in that moment, I'm just thinking of the community and our fans of our team. Happy Pride Month. I will gladly say that. Yeah. But that's one thing we have, is like, we're such an inclusive, loving team. I mean, a lot of those people are part of our locker room as well. So just the support and love we have in our group. I know as women, we're always trying to push the standards, get equal pay, and that's what our team is doing. And what I love is that the city has gotten behind us. I think they're almost cheering for us more than other teams, which I'm not asking for, but I'm grateful for. Thank you. But we're a tight-knit family here, even though it's Kansas and Missouri. We're all one on the Missouri River. But yeah, that's what it is. We're a family here because, we have that love and we all share that passion, and that's what has kept me here 100%. And I do like barbecue. As well.
God. We almost had to evacuate when Ebal said that. I was like, Ebal, sis. Lo, it has been an absolute joy and honor. Lo, Labonta, you are a national treasure. This last Olipop I raised you, let's hear it, Kansas City. Give it up for Lo Labonta.
Kansas City, Lo Labonta! Lo Labonta! I just feel like we've learned a lot about life, Sam.
I know.
Black coat in his underpants. Sam, what? We all know. Sam, that was quite a journey we've just been on tonight. Down the Missouri River, like Lewis and Clark. One that's been fused with passion and wonder. And by the way, some huge, bold swings, some vision. The sort of thing I love about this is there's been a lot of talk, but there's a lot of action in this city, carrying the talk through to fruition. Ultimately, it's been a story of audacity in equal measure.
Yeah, I have been so blown away by the vision of this club, the way that they have talked and turned their talk into action. We've done a lot of talking ourselves tonight, Raj. What do you think you'll be taking away from Kansas City?
Meat sweats. Indigestion of the best kind. And memories. I mean, I've got to say, I am truly inspired by this story that we've heard tonight. A story that is very much about the present day. It's about today. But what's been built here in this joyous footballing kingdom, ultimately I hope it's also riveting for listeners across this nation, listeners at home. I'd just say I hope that you are inspired too, and think about what's happened in this town, in this moment, this stadium, what this team are a pathfinder for. And it's my wish that this stadium is just the first of many that rise up in this next decade across our land. Stadia that are purpose-built for our women's football teams in NWSL. May they energize, may they propel the players as these players here have been propelled. May they bring joy, memories, a sense of collective wonder to the fans who share them. And may the women's game here move to that next level that I think we all dream of. And may this moment of profound construction in Kansas City and transformation for the women's game across our nation, and I hope, by the way, then across the globe, be remembered that it started here. So I'd just say, thank you, Kansas City. As Anthony Bourdain once said about your singular place, God bless America. Now serve the pork.
Very well said, Raj. It has been really, really wonderful to be back here in Kansas City. I really mean it when I say the people here are so nice, and I appreciate that a lot. Like we've referenced a couple of times, I had a really difficult year when I lived here and was trying to play for the team because I was injured. But coming back here, something about this place still feels really happy and special to me, and I think that's a direct reflection of the people in the community that I felt when I was going through a tough time. I used to love taking my dog to Loose Park and to Bar K, which is like the best place in the whole world. I used to get maybe a glass of sangria at Labonta. And I admit, I went to a Chiefs game and I wore a Chiefs t-shirt and I cheered for the team. And it was fun. Watching the growth of the league and of this club especially, it's been such an incredible experience. The Kansas City Current is setting a new standard for what it means to be a professional female soccer player in the United States. I really want to thank all of our guests today for coming and making this show what it was. Kristen Hamilton and Elizabeth Ball. Mr. Long. Lisa Nguyen. And Lo Labonta. I know. For coming here and being with us here at the Madrid Theatre. And another huge thank you to my partner in crime over here, Roger Bennett.
I want to thank you, Sam. I really do. What you are building with the women's game is genuinely bringing joy, as I said earlier, to those of us who love the game and its rise in this nation and around the globe. For those of you listening at home tonight, our next show will be in Los Angeles. You don't have to clap for that because you're in Kansas City. We're going to be on in the El Rey Theatre on June the 19th with the mighty Coach Beard from Ted Lasso himself, Brendan Hunt. Tickets available, pinned to the top of our social. And also Kansas City. Bad news. I'm going to be coming back here with Brendan Hunt the day before the United States men face Uruguay at Arrowhead. We're going to be here June the 30th, here at the Madrid Theatre. By the way, I've realized I love Madrid more than Carlo Ancelotti loves Madrid. I'm just going to sit here quietly backstage and eat barbecue until then.
No, Raj, you have to stop.
Yes, Sam, June the 30th. If you enjoyed tonight, spread the word. Tickets available imminently. Scan the QR code. Details will be sent out to you momentarily. And if you're listening at home, check the show notes of this podcast and come and be with us and revel in football, sweet football, which thrills us, which gives us such joy. And I've got to tell you, what you are building here in this city is a benchmark, is a golden standard for the rest of the nation. It's been an honor to tell your story tonight with you, Sam.
Last but not least, I am so grateful to all of you for coming here, leaving your homes to come to the show, to be here in person with us tonight. It's the first ever women's game live show, and you all were here. Thank you. I know. It's crazy. We started the women's game, this whole venture, just 5 months ago, and to think of what we've been able to do in this short amount of time, have a auditorium, a theater full of people coming to watch us talk.
Has this exhumed the Good Witch trauma?
Maybe. Maybe it is. But I think tonight went better than my play did. It's really amazing to me that you all are here, that there's people at home who listen to our show every week. You all have been such an incredible audience tonight, chiming in with your own laughter and reacting to us in real time has been so much fun. I've loved it. I know that you'll be just as incredible of an audience for the rest of this season, cheering them on this Sunday, June 9th, as they take on the Seattle Reign at home here in Kansas City at the incredible CPKC Stadium. So let's all raise one last Olipop in celebration of tonight, of the current, of you all, and of this wonderful place, Kansas City. Thank you all so much.
To you. Thank you very much. Sam, you're amazing. Big love. Courage. Good night.